Today, my darlings, we're going to talk about love. What a broad subject. It can bring every type of level of emotion from the greatest joy to the greatest despair. And today we're going to talk about the 5 love languages and how I got an incredible lesson on value from a 14-year-old. And we're going to find out how love is greater than sacrifice. Well, hello, darling, and welcome to the Just Jax podcast. Hi, I'm Jax, and I help you find the can in your cat. When we challenge our cats, miracles happen, because when I challenged mine of I can't draw, I can't paint, and I can't color, imagine my surprise when I discovered what I can do is create a 21-foot garden mural that was recently featured not once but twice on the front page of our local newspaper. Next up, I challenge the I'm no author, no artist, and no cursive writing specialist, but what I can do is self-publish 3 books for my kick-ass cursive writing curriculum, Crack the Cursive Code. I'm a jack of all trades, but what I master at is helping ordinary people like me to do extraordinary things through laughter, tears, life-changing stories, because metaphors are my jam. Together we can find the can in your can'ts, the do's in your don'ts, and the wills in your won'ts. I'm so excited for you. Let's go. Well, hello, my darlings. Welcome back to the Just Jax podcast. This is part 5 of the Adopt a Not series, and we are talking about not loved. This is going to be a eye-opening experience for some of you when you see how I am taking a very different perspective on what love is and what it means for me. And it really does start with having a better picture of who I am and what I need and voicing that. And that has been a true journey to get here. We are going to start first with one of the basic things I learned about love to help me understand what it is that I actually need in order to feel fulfilled as a human. So, the first place to start I found was to pick up a book called The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. It breaks down the 5 types of communication skills and point system, I guess, that we use as humans to recognize love. The first one is gifts. Now, gifts means that you are the type of person that I'm the type of person. I'm the type of person that if you're a gift person, I'm the type of person that thinks of the little things when you're out shopping that, ooh, that person would like that, or, oh, you know exactly what to get them to make their heart sing. You listen with intent when you go shopping with someone. They can tell you the smallest little things of what their favorite color is, and you'll remember that. I have that with my husband. He has bought me my heart's desire. I am blessed with a man that loves to give gifts. My house is full of stained glass and artwork and furniture and garden accessories. And it is just, I am blessed with beauty continuously. And he has a killer eye for buying me something that I never knew I wanted or desired until I had one. Actually, one of the gifts he's gotten me is one of the basis of my I'm the type of person statement. And it is, I want to have a property where I can walk on the beach and collect sea glass. That is my bucket list item. And I want to be able to go out there and just meditate and think and create. Right now, that is my heart's desire. But prior to that, I had a heart's desire of a Turkish floor lamp. And my husband is the type of person that likes to buy something for a really good price, and he will wait it out. He is like a cat that way. He is very patient and will wait and wait and wait until the perfect time to get it. And he found the exact Turkish lamp that I have wanted. It has, I believe, 9 bowls and glass mosaics bowls, and they are absolutely beautiful. And when I do my magic number, when I have as many as I can think of, I'm the type of person that receives their heart's desire is one of them. And I remember what it's like to be given that beautiful gift. I put that with the ocean scene in my mind, and that, yes, that's my heart's desire. And I am already a person that has that. And I get excited about the idea of having that and picture myself there. And so that is the first love language of gifts. And I am also a gift giver. I'm a kick-ass gift giver. I have bought stuff off of an Amazon wish list. Now, did I know about this wish list? No. My mother went shopping. She is horrible at shopping online. There is a disconnect for her and a distrust with online shopping. So she has a blockage towards it. But she was able to go onto Amazon and look for certain things for her scrapbooking. She loves to make greeting cards, and she had a bunch of things that she found on Amazon. I live in the United States and she lives in Canada, so we have different items presented on our Amazon feeds. But I was able to find the exact items that she had in her cart without her knowing anything about that. There was also a challenge that was given to me by a previous boyfriend. He was very much into space, very much into space. And there was a certain moon that he was interested in, and he wanted to get some information on it. And I was able to locate a PDF on this exact moon through through the Harvard's astronomy department. Because that's how I roll. And I was able to give that to him as a gift and found books that were impossible to find. I'm just gifted on being able to find things and hear someone's heart when they talk about a gift. So I have the love language of gift giving or gifts. There's something I need to point out here. If you have someone that has a love language of gifts, they will use that as a means to show that they're happy, they're sad, they want to apologize. And if the recipient has absolutely no wanting of gifts, those gestures can be thwarted and unwanted. And this could be very difficult to take for someone who wants to show love through gifts. And then you, on the other hand, could be just sitting there waiting for them just to do something small, like you were at the store. Why didn't you pick me up a bag of chips as well? Uh, all these different things that you could have thought of me and bought me a gift. It's my birthday. It's my anniversary. You knew I was sad. I had a promotion. You could have got me something to commemorate the occasion. But instead, you clean the house, or instead you did this or you did that. And this is where the difficulty can be with these, because they are an excellent tool to help you get to know your partner and what they need, but you can also use it as a weapon, because if you know what they need from you and withhold it on purpose or with that intent, then you know exactly how to hurt them. Like if you refuse to spend time with someone when all they ask for you to spend time, then you know how really to hurt your partner. But is that really what you can use these for? This means that if you have a gift giver as your spouse and you bring them flowers with an apology, the flowers will mean a really big gesture if they're a gift giver. The apology will be more if they have one of the other love languages. So let's get into the next one. Second one we can talk about is physical touch and closeness. Now, this one can be really difficult to disassociate from sexual foreplay, because a physical touch and closeness person loves to touch people. They put their hand on you. They're constantly touching you, leaning into you, hugging you. They can even lie against you. They just need to have physical touch in order to feel complete. My younger son was more of a physical touch person. He liked to be cuddled, etc. And I am very much a close to zero in this department. I, uh, that's an unfair statement, being close to zero, but I like to give hugs, but other than that, in regards to touch, it's touch and go. What my parents had a creepy touch. It's hard to explain, but if they put their hands on me, even to be an affectionate, appropriate way, it felt super creepy. I remember when I was a teenager and my dad had some men over and they were talking in the kitchen, and he asked me to come and sit on his lap, and I basically sat on it as if it was contaminated and I wanted the least part of me to touch it. So I have some, and now with my body, I'm recognizing that I have a lot of inflammation and it hurts to be touched. And so I have a sensory issue with touch at the moment that needs some revamping and a reset. So I will circle back on physical touch and closeness, but this is how people with this love language communicate. And I feel for the men that are like this, or for the women as well, because the need to be touched can often be misread, especially if there is tends to be the feeling afterwards when it goes from just plain touch to something else. Anyway, that is that is number 2. Number 3 is words of affirmation. And this one I used to discount a tremendous amount, but I'm beginning now to feel that with my current husband, who is a wordsmith, that how important it is for me, how important it is to understand what I am saying instead of the exact words that I am saying. It's interesting that you can get picked apart for your words and how painful that can be when it's used as a deflection. I did myself a disservice by discounting how much of this love language actually meant something to me, and that when men have a real good handle on being wordsmiths, they can really, really enamor a woman. And that's one thing that has to be very careful, is that their words and actions must match, because of a wordsmith can be very good at manipulation as well. But I, I, I am needing a little word love. Is what I am after, because being and sincere word love with the uh, words that encourage, uplift, and I need to recognize that more. And that's why the I'm the type of person statement really works, because when you receive something of a sincere compliment, I'm the type of person who deserves respect. I'm the type of person who receives compliments, sincere compliments. I'm the type of person who is worthy, period. I'm the type of person who deserves it, because you can. And when it comes in like that and it feels good, it can be used for good. And I think that's where the problem comes in, is that we worry what we're going to do with the power, because that's all we see also in our media, is that too much of something becomes power, and then power corrupts. But I want to rewrite that script. If I want to like everyone says, to use my power for good, but that's what the Avengers are, I suppose. I can't be an emotional Avenger, using my superpower of invisibility. Well, my voice will be one of my superpowers as well. So, number 4, quality time. This one was a tough one to understand. But my son really grounds me in quality time, because he can just hang out with you and just be around you and just watch simple things, do simple things. There's no itinerary, there's no having to be anything else than just with you. And he can really milk the moments of just being in the present moment and enjoying what's happening with the person. Now, does that mean that he just sits there full of attention? No, he's on his phone, or we're watching TV, or anything else. There's no control there. It's just that your presence means everything. So you could buy a gift and make zero time for someone, and they will be butthurt about that if they have the love language of quality time, because quality time means that they have your undivided attention for an extended period of time. Now, they can decide, like, if For me, quality time is, I would say it's there, but see, we have a sprinkle of all of these, like a salad. So if you have a certain thing that you have more of and less of, it's still in the salad. Sometimes may have very little of it, but if you have a partner that has this love language, or you have a parent or child, you may need to be able to understand that if you start doing things that means this way to them, but you also may have to educate to them on what love looks like for you, because this could be very difficult if you have someone that has one of these love languages that you completely have nothing to do with or interest in, like gift giving, for instance. My son is that way. I think his wife has more of a love language of gifts, and he struggles with it. My younger son, he will search and search. He's more like my husband, and he'll be able to find really cool things if he has the right parameters. But my older son struggles with it, really struggles with it badly. To give credit where credit is due, that young man will go to extensive lengths to find what he thinks is the right gift for someone. And he is getting better with it because he puts the effort into doing it, even if it's a struggle for him. And that's the key, because if gifts are very important to your partner and that's their currency of love or quality time, or physical touch and closeness, or just saying something when they need a word of encouragement. Though, if you know that that's what works for the person that you love, you can definitely make their day better by knowing how to communicate it in a language they understand. Okay, that's quality time. Now, this one is the big one for me, and this is the one that gets mistaken for love and misunderstood many, many times, and is exactly what happens and leads into the love is greater than sacrifice. And that is acts of service. That's when you do things for other people. You are at their service. And this is the one that I find can be the hardest, because you can have someone, say for instance, the wife wants quality time, but the husband has acts of service. So he'll fix the light, clean the car, do the garbage, but never take her out for a date or sit down with her and just have a chat or go for a walk or anything like that. Because to him, he will be a hard worker. He'll participate in helping around the house, but he will do things that can be easily replaced by hired help because he's being of service. And you can have that too, where you believe that if your love language is acts of service, you can easily be doing things and get asked to do things over and over and over again because that's your love language. And you think that you're showing love by doing that. But if you give that love language and that service to people that have very little regard for that, then you are going to be on a one-way street, and all it does is build resentment. Because if this person, they want more and more and more and more, and you give more and more. First of all, if you've given for a really long time, and then all of a sudden you realize that it's become one-sided, then what do you do? And that's exactly what has happened with my mom. And I have learned a very valuable lesson from her, but it has been a struggle to sort this out in my own world as well. And that is being manipulated for the acts of service love language. Here we'll go for an example. Say a family member wanted my mother to do something, and my mother is quite talented in a lot of different areas. She's really good at cooking. She's really good at weddings. She's really good at Ukrainian of in things. There's a lot that my mother is really good at, and a lot of times her family members are needing her services in that area, and they will ask her to do it, and she will gladly do it because that's her way of showing them love. But anytime my mother needs something, or anytime a family member has something to do with quality time or can return the service, I've seen family members where they were given a surplus of mushrooms. My mother absolutely loves morels, the wild mushrooms that grow in the forests. And this family member got some and told everyone about it, but never gave any to my mother, even though she has done tremendous things for her. And those are the wounds that happen when you have a love language of acts of service. And then what it does is that it closes her heart, and she only wants to give what she's willing to give. And what then happens is that's when the poison starts, because you start only giving what you're willing to give. And if I need, I'm going to put this in a strange analogy, but it's the one that I've always used with my kids, and it's orange juice versus grape juice. If I need love, which is in the form of juice, and I need grape juice, but she's only willing to give orange juice, then it's still juice, but it's far from what I really want. Definitely not any apple juice, but my mom and I both agree on that. Apparently, I was a nightmare baby. I had a birth story from hell. They told my mother they thought that she had an alien inside of her, because every time they tried to have me come out, I basically turned. And there was one, my mother tells a story that I actually like stood on her pelvis and looked down and said, no, no, this is not for me. I'm staying here. Even if my amniotic fluid was made of apple juice. And see, my mother also tells me this story that she was constantly throwing up with me and that she could keep nothing down. And so the only thing that tasted the same going up and down was apple juice. So she drank a lot of apple juice when she was pregnant with me. You never understand the ambiotic experience until we were at a restaurant and this gentleman came up to us and was offering juice with our breakfast meal. He offered apple, and my mom and I both went, ugh, not apple, please. And we both looked at each other and we realized that her being sick of apple juice, I was also just as sick of apple juice. So I never had to worry about her giving apple juice. But in the areas now, I do enjoy orange juice, but what I really wanted from my mom was grape. And she was unwilling to bend because she had taken so much of her soul and sacrificed it and gave it in the form of love to people who never deserved it, who never recognized it. And all it did was make her look needy, desperate, manipulated, weak, and all the things that they never ever should have been. And over the years, my mother did that for many people. She did that for my dad. She did that for her family members. She did that for some of her friends. In some ways, she did that for me too. But when she gave what was comfortable for her instead of what I needed from her. And that's where the disconnect can come in. Because my mother, if you think about how much orange juice she's given, she could fill a city's reservoir full easily, because she has given and given and given. And sometimes she's given when she wanted to give because she felt guilty. But again, she dropped off more cases of orange juice. When I was when I was in my vegan or vegan phase, whichever how you say it, wherever you are, my mother had a very hard time with that. And my husband had a hard time with bringing in a full-time income. And my mom would buy groceries or bring groceries, but she would bring stuff that she would use. She never asked what I would use, because she had a picture that I spent my money foolishly. And deep down, she never supported she had a really hard time supporting my vegetarian lifestyle, or vegetarian on steroids lifestyle. And so she would give, but it was always conditional, and it missed the mark so many times because she was only willing to give what she felt was necessary. And that came because of all the time she was free flowing of all of this orange juice. And orange juice is very enjoyable. It really is. But sometimes you have to take a look and see, first of all, do these people even want orange juice? Second of all, if they do, Are they going to be able to give you anything back? Are you willing just to give them orange juice and expect nothing in return? There comes an understanding that there has to be a love in a different way, or there has to be a communication about it so that you can be understood that there comes a time when there's just no more juice to be given. And my mother reached that potential way too late. And I experienced it in real life when I saw her interacting with my boys. Because to her, making them feel like they were around a fountain of food was how she loved them. And as they got older, they were allowed to just go and raid her fridge whenever they wanted, her pantry, her freezers. Now she has three of them as a single woman, so I meant like full freezers. She has enough. But then she'll complain about how she has to have these three freezers and she has so much food and the shopping costs her so much money. But then you'll go and see, well, I bought that for the boys and I bought that for the boys and I bought that for the boys. I said, well, then stop buying for them. Well, she goes, but that's the precedent that she set. But deep down, she loves it. So, like, why are you complaining about it? Are they, and it really hurts her when the boys fail to do what she wants to do. And it gets twisted because then she puts conditions on when she wants that access service to be fulfilled. Like my older son set a precedent that Saturdays are the days that he is with his girlfriend because that is their day that they're together. And she could have him any other weeknight or Sundays if she needed something. But there was always some type of emergency that my mother had on a Saturday, or she held it against him if she needed him on a Saturday and he was unavailable, instead of understanding and giving him the space that he is allowed to set some boundaries in his life with his relationship. There's a new girl in town, and that relationship takes priority. It takes priority over me, and it definitely takes priority over her. And she really uses that reservoir of orange juice as a manipulation tool and really beats them up with it if they show any type of resistance to if she wants something, because when she wants something she wants it now, and because of the reservoir she feels she deserves it now. When my sons only recognize a swimming pool size of it, that's there where the problem comes in. I it's difficult, it's very difficult to navigate through that, but because of that, this is where the next story comes in: the power to say no. It was brought to my attention on what we think love is and how love can be considered a sacrifice of ourselves, and a diminishing, a lessening, a making smaller. And I have surrounded myself with people that have been destined to keep me smaller. My family, my relationships, except one, the only one that I was taught to expand was my third husband, the older man. He really brought me out of my shell and told me to stand tall and be brave, basically, and do whatever I needed to do to become whoever I wanted to become. Since then, I've been choosing still people that are wanting me to be smaller because I think they're afraid that they will lose me if I'm bigger. Well, then there may be some truth in that, because everybody has the opportunity to grow, and that's what I mean about getting bigger, as in just wanting to become the best version of yourself. So my mother has now decided that she's going to become independent, but she's becoming a bitch with it, in that it's based in fear, that she is looking at the reservoir of orange juice. People just take advantage of me, and I'm just going to say no now, and it's going to be with no explanation or no understanding or anything like that. It's just no. And I'm going to cut off people when I want to cut them off, when I'm going to teach a lesson, and cut them out of my life, and that's the answer. But there is a different way, and I got taught this lesson from a 14-year-old girl. She came to me and when wanted to talk to me. I have this unique relationship with this girl that when she really needs to talk to someone, I'm the one to talk to. But she also knows that I am like Buckley's. I am going to tell it to her straight and give her exactly what she needs to hear. Now, when I reflect back to you what I told her, you can have your own personal ideas about this, but I want you to understand that this information was specifically for her. When we were together, we went to a festival of Christmas trees where we have people who love to decorate Christmas trees in awesome themes, and some of these people go all out. I had roses made out of sheets of piano music, and there were so many beautiful things on this tree. I thought, well, this would be a good thing for her and I to go because we could go and talk. And also, there's enough distractions to keep it quite light. And she was telling me that she had slept with her boyfriend. She's 14, and that she did it because she couldn't say no. And first of all, her having a boyfriend, we need to give some context here. This young girl, her parents broke up when she was 9 or 10, and they had a breakup that is television worthy. It is one that you see in a movie. This gentleman, his dad was a former lawyer. It was questionable why he no longer practiced, but he was a former lawyer and knew the system, and the two of them represented themselves, and they went to war on this woman and the legal system. They did everything in their power to be argumentative, as well as went after the lawyers and the judges and did everything to prove a point, because this woman left him and said, no, no more. During that time, there were two other boys that were involved, one being from another father, and then one being his. And those children witnessed this horrific battle between a very bitter dad and a mom clawing her way through all of that. The sad part about this is that my friend never led a perfect life, and he had everything he needed to accomplish what he wanted to accomplish. But because she said no and continued her stand, he lost his shit and went after her. And in the process, lost everything. And lost it in a grand way. So this young thing, at the age of 11, decided that she no longer wanted to be called by her first name. She wanted to be called Luke instead. And notified the school nurse about this. As my world works, everything works out for me, and I am always in the right place at the right time. That is one of my magical gifts. And as luck would have it, I went shopping with her the day before for her school clothes, and she was still very much interested in girl type of clothing. So my conversation was to her. At the age of 11, all girls generally think boys are disgusting, because there are three parts that make a decision on who you want to love. First one is your head, that you sit there and you look at it and what you find attractive. Second is your heart, and that's where you feel the feelings in your body. And the third is in your private area where your genitals are, and that area is still sleeping. And she looked at me. I said, when that area wakes up, you are going to know definitely what you want. Sometimes it's so strong, and and for some people, that decision they have felt has ruined their entire lives. So this area of their body has to wake up first for them to know how to fuel the other two in decision making. And I said, I am in my 50s, and I could decide to explore that side anytime I wanted to. You can you can you could choose at any time to be gay. And she looked at me and just with these wide eyes. And I said, so maybe we give it some time. Have you even kissed a boy? She goes, no, they're disgusting. I said, they're supposed to be at that age until that part wakes up. And then for some, it stays that way, but you need to wait for that part first. How about you and I make that decision when after that part wakes up? She goes, okay. Flash ahead. Um, I had found out about her boyfriend. I had talked to her and I looked at her and I said, the part woke up, huh? She goes, yeah. I said, so what's the decision? Well, definitely boys. I said, okay. Now you know, right? She goes, yeah, now I know. I said, what about Luke? She goes, no, that's over. I said, okay, just checking. Because either way, it's fine. I just wanted to know what you were thinking with your whole body. She goes, yeah, it's okay. And then that's when she asked to talk to me about the boyfriend. So then flash ahead again to the next visit where we're at the trees. And that's where she tells me that she slept with him because she couldn't say no. And I could see that in her whole body that this was a truth for her. This was her story. And I just looked at her and I said, well, that is absolute bullshit. She looked at me. She goes, what are you talking about? I said, I have seen you say no. You're one of the sassiest little shits I've ever met. And she got that look on her face and you can see her power come back. I'm like, that's absolute bullshit. You just have trouble saying no in this area, but you definitely know how to say no. So I don't want to hear this. I don't know how to say no, or I couldn't say no, or anything like that, because you could say no if you decided that you could say no. So what's the real issue here? And we started talking about it, about the boyfriend and everything like that. And I understood that because for me, I thought love was destroying myself and to minimizing myself. I remember saying to a gentleman in my relationship, and this is later in life, I would have loved if I was 14 when I was learning this lesson instead of in my 40s. I remember looking at this guy and I said, I don't ever think I could say no to you. And he just looked at me and to his credit, he goes, that is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. You're supposed to be able to say no to me. But I realized that to me, he would say that he was disgusted. But if I brought myself up or talked to myself, he would make it very difficult. It all turned out to be about his feelings. And I realized that that was a form of love for me, was that I kept myself small and quiet. And I did it in my recent relationship too. I have just kept quiet. And I was thinking about that. I thought, why did you do that again? You're the common denominator. And I realized is to make me realize that I am the common denominator. And that why have I decided that love meant that I keep my needs and wants and desires small, and that I choose men that have a very difficult time hearing what those needs, wants, and desires are. That is exactly what I grew up with, and that is what I am comfortable with. And that is still somewhere on my worth scale. It was something that I wanted. But I knew about a year and a half ago that scale tipped in a different direction because I have been vocalizing what I need, want, and desire from my husband. And it has been a little rocky, but I can see the glimmers of why I decided to be in this relationship and move to another country in the first place. But I am no longer going to sacrifice what I want and who I am to get there. It has been a little rocky because I'm in this as well, learning how to do this. And these I'm the type of person statements are starting to do that because whenever he does something sweet or special, I really use that as one of my statements. I'm the type of person who gets treated kindly. I'm the type of person that someone finds absolutely adorable. And those can sound a little corny, but the opposite of what those feel like are horrible when you have real life examples so that you can also recognize it when you see it. I wanted to leave her with something a little bit more, and I'll leave it with you as well, is the I'm the type of person statement. She has a truth there because she is very clear on being able to say no. And she has said no in hundreds of millions of different ways with friends, with her brothers. And that's where she can really channel it into her male energy and realize that she can tailor made the I'm the type of person statement for her, that I'm the type of person that can say no when it counts. And I asked her how she felt about that. And it felt really good. I said, so now I want you to, whenever you have to say no, and you have said no, even if it's something simple as in no ketchup, I'm the type of person that says no when it counts, because when you say no to ketchup, you are still saying no to something so that you get what you want. You are saying no to what you don't want. And that's exactly, instead of being silent and taking it and having this burning feeling down deep that just feels like shit, you can actually practice when you're doing it in small things, even with strangers. When someone offers you something, just say no and then realize that, oh, I'm the type of person that says no when it works for me. I'm the type of person that says no when it counts. I'm the type of person that can just say no with no explanation. I'm the type of person who's working on my nose. I'm the type of person who loves to say no. And you can do whatever silly no juju thing you need, but you need to celebrate it when it happens. This is a proof-based mantra. It only happens. It's nothing to do with the future. It has to do with you've done it. And when it happens in your regular life, you celebrate it, because that means you practice it in times when you are regulated emotionally, so that when you do become unregulated, you've already practiced it. It's there as one of your tools to be able to help you in the future when you become unregulated. It's because something will happen. You could all of a sudden start to panic and go, no, I'm the type of person who can say no when it counts, because you know that, and you can bring yourself some calm and lessen your anxiety. This is when I can tell that someone really gets it, because we were talking about something and I told her that I had a similar experience with a boyfriend, and I worded something and she looks at me, hey, where's your I'm the type of person statement? And I'm like, you're right. And so we worked on one for me. So we've come to the end of this episode, and I hope you understand that love is greater than sacrifice, and that you can create an I'm the type of person statement that helps you create the boundaries so that you can be loved the way you want to be loved. And you can recognize what really your love language is. So if you all of a sudden have someone that you want to spend time with and they take that time, then I'm the type of person who gets love through quality time. I'm the type of person that people take time to see. I'm the type of person that feels good around people I love. I'm the type of person, you can do whatever you want for each and every one of these, and you can create something and build more of the love that you can recognize and want. And it can fill your soul so that you can then give more and be able to speak your truth about how you want to love someone and what love looks like for you. But I'm telling you, all of this sounds absolutely fabulous unless you work on yourself and how much love you have for yourself and how much love you are worth. You will only bring people around that will show you that level of love. So when you have, that's what they're talking about, self-respect and self-love. When you realize that you deserve to be treated kindly, you deserve to be taken care of, and you deserve the great things. But if you have been on this sacrificial life thing where it's turned you into this bitter person and you only give out of fear or you only give out of anger, then I'm sorry, then you're only going to get what you give. But if you can turn around the energy about all of that, and that is where these I'm the type of person statements really help. If you want some help with those I'm the type of person statements, you can contact me through Facebook and Instagram, or you can send me an email at justjackspodcast@gmail.com or hashtag HeyJax on Reddit. You can check out my kick-ass cursive writing curriculum, Crack the Cursive Code. It is the ultimate cursive writing adventure, and you can find the books on Amazon and Barnes & Noble online, or you can get the PDFs on my website of crackthecursiveCode.com. On there also is my forthwith, my loser, and my shift merchandise. It has been an absolute pleasure spending this time with you. And if you can like, share, and leave a 5-star review, we can help other people find this podcast as well. Jax.